The Toronto Maple Leafs injury struggles continue, and we have injury updates on all the players who are out right now, as well as a call-up from the Marlies that may help this team out with the bunch of injuries they have right now, as well as the Red Wings need a miracle to make the playoffs, and I'll break it all down for you coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into it, just want to say, if you're one of the thousands of people watching this that aren't subscribed to the channel, and you love the hockey and NHL just like all of us here, make sure to down below hit that subscribe button for your daily dose of hockey content. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video today, which is the Red Wings need a miracle. And obviously, right now, the wild card race is pretty tight in the East between Washington, Philadelphia, and Detroit, all within points of each other to make the playoffs. And one thing that the Red Wings do have in their favor here is that the Caps and the Flyers are both in the same division, so all they need is for one of those teams to struggle for them to make the playoffs. But we're going to get into a little in-depth breakdown of this situation here, and they say good team games are not playoffs are only going to happen if the Red Wings can outpace their nearest opponents. Currently, the Capitals sit in the second wild card with 81 points in 72 games, and the Flyers rank third in the Metropolitan Division with 82 points in 74 games. One of those two teams will hold the third spot in the division, but Detroit can make the wild card if it surges ahead of one of them down this final stretch of the season. And if you want a little bit of a visual look at what it looks like here in the Metro, in the wild card race right now, here it is. We have Washington with 81 points in 72 games. Detroit with 79 points in 73 games. Washington does have one game in hand on the Red Wings right now. As I'm recording this video, the Red Wings are playing, so this may change later if you're watching this later on this evening. And the Philadelphia Flyers with 74 games have 82 points, so they have a few more games played than the Capitals, than the Red Wings. So it will be interesting to see how this all unfolds going down the stretch. And what they say here is the odds of that happening, of the Red Wings making the playoffs, look pretty slim. Money Puck gives the Red Wings a 15.6% chance at making the playoffs. And while the Red Wings need some help from other teams, they might be living on hope. In terms of the remaining schedule, the Flyers have the weakest one with average opponent point total sitting at 72.75. Detroit's remaining opponents set an 82.3, almost negligible edge against the 83.3 point average of Washington's remaining docket. Anybody can win in the NHL each night, and the Red Wings' chances all hinge on some upset work. And one thing that the Detroit Red Wings will need going down the final stretch here is some help from their top 5 point getters this season. Obviously, Lucas Raymond tops the team, just edging out DeBrincat by 1 point with 60. Obviously, Alex DeBrincat has been a great player for this Detroit Red Wings club all season long. Dylan Larkin, the captain, obviously one of the fastest skaters in the league. He great playmaker, great goal scorer as well. Then they got Ghost, who has been a really solid defenseman for them this year with 37 assists, 10 goals. And then obviously, Patty Kane with 17 goals, 23 assists for 40 points. So Detroit's really going to need some help from all these guys here down the final stretch of the season to really help boost their chances to get into the playoffs. And it, like they say here, it's looking very slim. They have a lot of tough opponents coming up. I believe they're playing the Panthers, I think maybe twice, or they're playing the Lightning as well. So as they see here, but most of their opponents have 82 points or more right now going into the final few games of this season. So they will need to, be on their best game and try to topple these, top-sided teams to make their way into the playoffs. And one thing that, a lot of people aren't giving them a very high chance of making it, but they do have some great talent there. They have Patty Kane, who's been there. He knows how to win. I think that mentorship or that leadership ability is really going to help this younger team going down the final stretch here, trying to get them into the playoffs. They're going to need some big games out of DeBrincat, out of Larkin, out of Lucas Raymond here to be clutch. They're going to need them to be clutch. They're going to need them to score goals. They're going to need them to get points so that they can win these games. And their goaltending has been, a pretty solid, I would say, with Alex Lyon playing great hockey for them as of late. And like I said, they need a miracle here to make this happen, because Washington, all they need to do is keep winning, or win-loss, 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 and they could, win out here and beat this wild card spot. And it all comes down to winning games here. You need to win games, and if Detroit wins all the remaining games, I'm pretty sure they are going to make the playoff spot. But with that with that in saying that, that is a really tough task to do, is to win out the rest of your season games. But if any team's going to do it, I think it could be Detroit. Washington, obviously, they have Ovi. This guy's been on fire as of late, so he could, keep on that streak, keep on that, hot streak that he's on, and really will this team into the playoffs. And with Philly, a couple games more played than these guys, if they, lose out in most of their games, they could lose that third spot in the Metro to Washington, and Detroit could overtake them in the playoffs wild card spot. So it will be interesting to see what happens going down the final stretch here. This is something to really look at here because, this is a tight race, one of the tightest races we've seen in a while between three great hockey clubs, and I think any of these teams could win out or make the playoffs, and it'll be interesting to see. But I do have faith in this Red Wings club. Like I said, they need a miracle, and if anybody's going to get a miracle, it's going to be, Shanahan's Red Wings, and I'm really excited for this team, and I really hope that they can win out in these final tough matchups of the season to make the playoffs. I want to see Patty Kane back in the playoffs, but we're going to get into our second topic of the video today, which is Leafs riddled with the injury bug. And of course, all season long, unfortunately, the Toronto Maple Leafs have been dealing with injuries, and it all starts to come back around yet again. And if we take a look here, this is Sheldon Keefe talking about Morgan Rielly. He said he's progressing well. Looks like he's turned the corner here. Expect him on the ice in the next day or so, but unavailable for Saturday against the Bruins. But then we also move into Mitch Marner, who was placed on LTI retroactive to March 7th for roster management purposes, and they recalled D. Marshall Rafai from the Toronto Marlies, who they did have up earlier this season. And Elliot Freeman does say about this Marner move, that's just a cap move. Marner is eligible to come out tomorrow and play this week if he's healthy and he's fit. Doesn't mean that his injury is is getting worse or anything. It's just for this call-up, they needed that extra cap, and so they put Marner on the LTI here. And we also get an update on Timothy Liljegren's status. He says timeline not exactly set, not a day-to-day situation, more week-to-week, I would say, but we're not expecting at this point to outlast the regular season. Same goes for Joel Edmundson's undisclosed injury. And then we have a quote from Sheldon Keefe saying, we're down to 6 defensemen, and the way things have been going, it's important to have an additional guy. Keefe said on the call-up of Rafai. He said he'll be in the warm-up tonight. And then we go on to see Marshall Rafai's impact he had with this club earlier on this season, where he played 2 games, had 4 hits, 1 block, no points, but did average 11 minutes time on ice, so he did get some great action there. And the thing with Rafai is he's not going to be the guy who's going to be impactful on the score sheet every night. He does have the ability to do that, but he's just great at breaking up plays, great at playmaking, and he can join the rush with ease. He has great speed to pop up there at times and skate with the forwards on the rush. And I think this is a solid call-up. This is a guy who they need right now. Obviously, with Liljegren, Rielly still out, they needed somebody to come up and play this 7D type role. Edmundson out as well, so they call up Rafai, a guy who's was with the club earlier this year. They knows what his game is and what he's going to do out there on the ice, so they know exactly what they're getting with this guy. And I think that this time up, I think he will have a little bit more of an impact than the last time he was up. I think this guy is a really great defenseman. I think he's really solid at shutting down plays in his own zone, getting into the corners, breaking up plays with his stick, and he can also lay the body for you as well. And he's a great passer. He's going to set some guys up with outlet passes. He's going to join the rush at times as well. So this is a guy to look out for in the least next couple of games until some of these guys return. But getting back to the whole injury bug situation, we have Rielly, Liljegren, Edmundson, Marner all out right now, which is really tough to see if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. All season long, they have been dealing with injuries. It really sucks to see. We've never really seen a full, healthy Toronto Maple Leafs club this season, which, is really, hard to see, hard to say, because this team has such a great roster, has so many skilled players on it. And I seen one thing that a lot of people were worried about this Marner situation earlier today, where he was placed on long-term injury, but like we got some clearance from Elliot Freeman there. It doesn't mean that his injury is getting any worse. He's still, recovering, trying to get back there out on the ice. I'm sure he'll be placed off of this LTI tomorrow and will be back out skating on the ice. And if he's feeling up to it, I think we could see him in a game next week. Like I said, it doesn't mean his injury is getting worse. But, they just had to do that so they could call Rafai up due to cap situations and stuff like this. So, like I said, it's tough for Toronto Maple Leafs fans. It just seems like it just keeps getting worse for Leafs fans at this point because every game or every couple of games, you see a guy going down with injury. He's out day to day, out week to week, and it's just tough to see because you can't really build a lineup when you keep going with injury and injury and injury. You really want to hammer out your final playoff lineup here, but you won't really have the opportunity to do this with so many guys going down with injury every day. So I think all these guys will be I'm hopeful that all these guys will return for the playoffs and we'll finally get to see a full healthy Leafs team. And I'm really excited for the Toronto Maple Leafs going on the stretch here. I think they can make quite an impact here come playoff time. I think just need to overcome some of these injuries and I think they could really, skyrocket from there. But I want to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. What do you guys think about all these injuries for the Toronto Maple Leafs? I mean, it really sucks to see because you don't want to see anybody go down with injury in the NHL, in the world of sports, because you want to see those guys play their games or whatever it may be and play the best hockey that they can. And when they're dealing with injuries all season long, it's really tough for the team, really tough for the coaching staff to kind of navigate around this. And I'm really hopeful, though, for the Leafs that they will come out on top here and really have a good run here in the playoffs. You got to stay hopeful, got to stay optimistic for this team because they have such a great roster, they have such a great coaching staff, and like I said in previous videos, Brad Treliving has done phenomenal with this team, and now, you got some guys up like Marshall Rafai who could come up from the AHL and make an instant impact for this club. You never know, when young guys get their shot in the NHL, they always want to make the most of it, so we could see something special out of this guy in these next couple of games. Like I said, I want to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. What do you think about all these injuries? What do you think they're going to do going into the playoffs? Let me know down below. And also, let me know about the Detroit Red Wings. What do you think? Are they going to make the playoffs? Let me know down below in the comment section. We're going to get in everybody's favorite topic here, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Matthew. He says, Red Green Show, classic Canadian goal. I miss shows like that. Those duct tape inventions were my favorite part. LOL. Shout out to you, Matthew. Obviously, if you missed yesterday's comment of the day, we were talking about the keeper stick on the ice from the Red Green Show. And, being from Newfoundland, we all love those duct tape inventions. You knows we loves it. The Red Green Show is a classic show for a lot of Canadians. And if you haven't seen the Red Green Show, what are you doing? You got to go check it out because that is an all-time show, an all-time classic. And we got to shout out Red Green Show here on the channel yet again. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on over 3,500 subscribers here on the channel. So if you're looking for a place for daily hockey content, daily NHL news, daily Leafs news, go down below and hit that subscribe button if you're already not. And if you want to check out a video I did yesterday on the Benoit extension, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.